Welcome to Youtube Pedia. In the world of martial arts cinema, few names shine as brightly as Jet Li. But behind the sharp kicks and lightning-fast punches lies a story far deeper, a tale of hardship, determination, sacrifice, and an unyielding spirit. Jet Li is not just a martial artist or an action hero. He is a man forged by pain, sculpted by discipline, and softened by philosophy. We explore the incredible journey from a struggling boy in Beijing to a rising star in Asia's cinematic sky. Discover the greatest stories from history, science, and beyond. If you're curious about the world, subscribe now and join our journey through knowledge. Born on April 26, 1963 in Beijing, China, Li Lianji, known to the world as Jet Li, was the youngest of 3 children. Life was never easy for the Li family. His father passed away when Jet was only 2 years old, leaving his mother alone to raise the children during one of the most difficult eras in Chinese history, the Cultural Revolution. Food was scarce, money was tighter, and life was a constant struggle. Without a father figure, young Jet grew up in a society that demanded toughness. But Jet wasn't just tough, he was naturally agile, quiet, and focused. He had no idea that the pain and poverty of his early years were forging something extraordinary within him, a warrior's heart. At the age of 8, Jet was selected to join a special summer sports school program run by the Chinese government. It wasn't a martial arts school per se, but one that tested children for athletic potential. It was here that Jet's exceptional flexibility, discipline, and speed caught the eyes of coaches. He was quickly placed in a Wushu training program under the strict guidance of legendary coach Wu Bin. Wu Bin wasn't just a trainer, he was a sculptor of champions. He took Jet under his wing, often giving him extra food and clothes out of his own pocket because he knew how poor Jet's family was. With intense training, discipline, and hours of practice each day, Jet slowly became a martial arts prodigy. By the time he was 11, Jet Li had already won his first national Wushu championship. But that was just the beginning. Over the next 5 years, he would go on to win the All-China Wushu Championships 5 times in a row. His incredible performances stunned not only judges, but also audiences across China. He wasn't just a kid performing martial arts, he was art in motion. Jet's Wushu routines were poetry delivered through fists and footwork, discipline transformed into elegance. In 1974, he was selected to perform for President Richard Nixon during his visit to China. Legend has it that Nixon, amazed by the young boy's grace and skill, asked if he would be his bodyguard. Jet, only 11, humbly replied, "No, I want to protect my own country." Whether the story is true or not, it became part of the Jet Li mythology. After retiring from competitive Wushu due to injuries, Jet was approached by filmmakers who saw something unique in him: raw charisma and natural screen presence. In 1982, he made his cinematic debut in Shaolin Temple, a film that would change Chinese cinema forever. Shaolin Temple wasn't just a movie, it was a movement. Audiences were stunned to see real martial arts, performed not by actors using wires but by a real-life champion. The film became a massive success, and Jet Li instantly turned into a household name across China. It wasn't just his martial arts that won hearts. It was his honesty, humility, and quiet strength that made audiences fall in love with him. Following Shaolin Temple, Jet starred in 2 sequels and several other martial arts films that solidified his status as the new face of Chinese action cinema. His films celebrated Chinese history, honor, and cultural pride. Jet Li wasn't just a fighter, he was a symbol of national dignity. In the 1990s, he took on iconic roles such as Wang Feiheng in the Once Upon a Time in China series, portraying a legendary martial artist and physician. These roles weren't just about kicks and punches, they were stories of morality, honor, and wisdom. Jet Li became more than just a movie star. He was a cultural ambassador, inspiring millions with every disciplined movement and philosophical monologue. Despite his fame, Jet Li remained extremely private. Off-screen, he lived a simple life, often meditating, studying Buddhism and Taoist philosophy. He believed in inner peace, balance, and the importance of humility. His soft-spoken nature was a stark contrast to the intensity of his film roles. Friends and co-stars often described him as introspective, wise beyond his years, and deeply spiritual. He didn't chase fame or wealth, he pursued purpose. By the mid-1990s, Jet Li had become one of Asia's most respected and beloved stars. His journey from an impoverished orphan to a martial arts champion and film icon is not just inspiring, it's legendary. But his story was far from over. In the next chapter of his life, he would face even greater challenges, crossing over to Hollywood, dealing with personal tragedies, facing life-threatening illness, and ultimately transforming into something much more than an action star. As the 1990s drew to a close, Jet Li had already carved his place as a martial arts icon across Asia. But a new challenge awaited him, a world of bright lights, blockbuster films, and unfamiliar audiences, Hollywood. The transition was not just a career move, it was a personal journey filled with triumphs, trials, spiritual awakenings, and a haunting health battle that would threaten everything he had built. Jet Li's first appearance in a Hollywood film came in 1998 with Lethal Weapon 4. Playing the villainous Wah Sing-ku, Jet didn't even have a single line in English. But he didn't need words. His intense presence, precision fighting, and magnetic screen charisma did all the talking. Audiences were captivated. Hollywood had seen martial artists before, but Jet brought something different, a silent fury wrapped in grace. He quickly earned the respect of industry veterans and opened the door for a string of action-packed roles in the West. Jet followed up with Romeo Must Die 2000, a modern-day martial arts Romeo and Juliet tale. The film, co-starring Aaliyah, was a success and helped cement Jet's place as a bankable international star. He became known not just for traditional martial arts, but also for integrating new-age stunts, wirework, and even hip-hop aesthetics. Films like The One 2001, Kiss of the Dragon 2001, and Cradle to the Grave 2003 followed, each showcasing his unique ability to blend emotion with action. Audiences saw a new kind of hero, one who didn't speak much but expressed volumes with movement. Jet's fame skyrocketed, but he remained grounded. In interviews, he spoke about how martial arts was more than just fighting, it was a path to self-discovery. Hollywood gave him fame, but he never lost his inner compass. While Jet's professional life soared, his personal life was marked by profound challenges. His first marriage to Huang Qiuyan, a fellow martial artist, ended quietly. He later married actress Nina Li Kai, with whom he has 2 daughters. Jet became extremely protective of his family, rarely sharing details and shielding them from the media spotlight. One of the most heartbreaking moments in Jet's life came when he was in the Maldives during the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. He was there with his daughter when the disaster struck. Although they survived, the experience deeply affected him. He later founded the One Foundation, a charitable organization focused on disaster relief and helping vulnerable communities. Jet's brush with death made him reflect more seriously on the fragility of life. He became more involved in philanthropy, spirituality, and personal reflection. Fame was fleeting, but service, he believed, was eternal. In 2010, Jet Li publicly revealed that he was suffering from hyperthyroidism, a condition that affects metabolism and energy levels. He also sustained leg and spine injuries from years of physical training and filming stunts. His public appearances grew less frequent. In 2018, a photo of a frail-looking Jet Li circulated online, sparking rumors that he was dying. Fans were heartbroken, but Jet calmly addressed the rumors, saying, "I'm doing fine, I'm just living life at my own pace now." Despite the illness, he remained strong in spirit. He had always believed that true strength wasn't just physical, it was mental, emotional, and spiritual. Jet Li had long been a student of Buddhism, but in the second half of his life, it became a core part of his identity. He studied under Tibetan masters, meditated regularly, and embraced a more minimalist, mindful life. He often spoke about ego, impermanence, and compassion. For Jet, martial arts had always been about more than combat, it was a spiritual journey. He began to reject scripts that promoted meaningless violence or lacked moral depth. He wanted his roles to reflect his values. Jet's transition from action star to spiritual seeker was not abrupt. It was natural, a culmination of years of reflection, suffering, and awakening. In 2020, Jet returned to the screen as the Emperor in Disney's live-action Mulan. Though a supporting role, it marked a significant return for him. He agreed to the film because of his daughters, who encouraged him to take part in a project that bridged East and West. Jet brought dignity and gravity to the role, reminding audiences that his presence was timeless. He didn't need flashy moves or grand speeches. His calm eyes and regal bearing told the story. Jet Li's legacy is not just in the dozens of films he made or the championships he won, it is in the way he lived. From a fatherless boy in Beijing to a global superstar, from a fierce competitor to a humble teacher, Jet Li is a living testament to resilience, purpose, and transformation. He paved the way for Asian actors in global cinema, broke stereotypes, and inspired millions. But perhaps his greatest achievement is not what he did on screen, but who he became off screen, a man of peace in a world obsessed with power. In Jet Li's story, we see a reflection of our own struggles, the pain of loss, the hunger for success, the search for meaning. He reminds us that even in the fiercest storms, we can find stillness. Even in a world of noise, we can choose silence. Jet Li is not just a martial artist. He is a monk with fists, a warrior with a soul, and above all, a human being who chose the harder path, to rise, to serve, and to let go. A legend not because of the roles he played, but because of the man he became. If you liked this deep dive into the incredible life of Jet Li, make sure to hit that like button, it really helps the channel grow. Got thoughts, memories, or favorite Jet Li moments? Drop a comment below, I love reading what you think. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next epic story from history, legends, and beyond. Thanks for watching, your support means everything.